following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds where the sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. 14:20 in the morning for this March the 5th, 2023. It's a snowy Sunday morning here in southern Alberta, so get to warmed up for 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk on this glorious Sunday morning. It's a special day in the Radlinski family. We'll get down to that in a little bit here. But today's show, as always, brought to you by barnburnerhockey.ca and just barnburnerhockey.ca. Use promo code 1420 Barn at barnburnerhockey.ca for their all-natural hockey products and apparel today. Once again, we're live on Facebook Live. Try to get there every morning. A little late start today. Didn't get into her yesterday. Had some health issues yesterday morning. Wasn't feeling the best. Nothing serious. Not a hangover. Nothing. Just one of those little situations. A little bug came in and paid a visit to me yesterday morning, so we didn't get around to it. Anyways, as always, we're joined. Anyways, the Edmonton Oilers last night, they had a tough one again last night in Winnipeg against that good Jets team, not great Jets team, but good Jets team that I picked to win the Stanley Cup. That they got a gift last night from Jack Campbell. Didn't go so well for Campbell once again. The Oilers have a problem in net. It seems to be year in, year out. No matter what they do, they can't seem to get a guy to stop hockey pucks. They got the two of the best hockey players in the world, as everybody talks about, with McDavid and Draisaitl. Draisaitl had the hat trick last night in a 7-5 loss to Winnipeg. Campbell stopped 31 out of 37 shots or something like that. He gave up 6. Then there was the empty netter. Campbell's got a serious problem in net. He's had a tough year, and I was completely wrong about this guy when the season started. I thought he was the piece that the Leafs let go that they should have kept, and he was the piece that the Oilers got that they were happy to get, and it hasn't turned out that way at all for Jack Campbell and the Edmonton Oilers. There's something wrong between the guys' ears a little bit. It's just not going well. And it's got 845 save percentage the last 5 games. That isn't going to get her done. An 882 save percentage throughout the season. The 17-9-4 mark that he has as a starting goaltender, that's his record. Seems like a great record for a starting goaltender. It's the kind of thing you want from a guy. But that save percentage, that's going to scare a lot of teams away from, well, it's going to be inviting for a lot of teams that they're facing Campbell. But with Campbell in net, the Oilers have a problem. They're falling down night in, night out. The last 5 games, it hasn't been good for Campbell in net. And without McDavid on that team, without Draisaitl on that team, you wonder where they would be with their overall record. They're still they're comfortably in a wild card spot, but they have a chance to win that division and give themselves an easier run to the playoffs, because that first 2 rounds can be it can be a gauntlet, and getting through there and having to play the tougher opponents right now wouldn't be something that they would be wanting to do. It's winning the division. I think it should still be important. I think it is important, and I think that most teams would relish that opportunity to do that. But you got a goaltender in Campbell who's not giving you a chance to win night in, night out. And I don't understand for the life of me why they don't get something right between this guy's ears and have him sit out a few games, maybe send him down for a conditioning stint or something. I don't know if they're allowed. I don't know what his contract says, but if you sent Campbell down for just a little bit and said, hey man, maybe it's time to take a little break because things aren't going so good. Say you're hurt, get it right between your ears. Sometimes you just can't play yourself out of these situations. Sometimes you need a break away from the game. Just going in, night out, isn't the best of things. And having a guy like Stuart Skinner with your team on the Oilers, he has a situation there where he's playing some really good hockey. He played great on Friday night in Edmonton against that same Jets team. You wonder why they wouldn't just go with Skinner. And this load management thing is not much of a load management. It's just a thing where the Oilers, a lot of teams just don't play goalies on back-to-backs, and I don't understand that. I do not. Sometimes goalies, they get in a groove, and they want to play, and just let them keep going. If they're winning and your team feels more confident with a guy in net that's winning hockey games, I say play the guy into the ground. Who cares, man? Like, careers are short, and you have Skinner signed to a longer term deal after this year. I think he got a 3-year at $4 per after this season. So I don't see why they're not playing Skinner night in, night out. They have a little bit of a gauntlet coming up where they go to Buffalo, who's a much improved hockey team, then into Boston, who just can't lose. They're 10-0, 10 in a row they have now. And then in Toronto, who blew one last night against the lowly Vancouver Canucks. You got to win those hockey games against those bad teams. You cannot in a team that's quasi rebuilding, quasi regrouping, in the kind of sort of hunt for Bedard a little bit. You can't go into Vancouver at 4:00 in the afternoon and lose that hockey game. Well, 4:00 Pacific, obviously, but you can't lose that hockey game to a Toronto team. But back to the Oilers, why they don't just play Skinner a bunch, see what's wrong with Campbell between his ears. I don't know who their minor league guy is, and maybe have him sit out a couple of games. Say you're come up with the lower back injury and have him go down for a conditioning stint and play a couple of games and see if he can get things right between the ears, because you don't lose your skill. And saying Campbell was a fluke last year, that might be a thing, because he hasn't had the most glamorous record throughout his career in his various stops around the league that hasn't been right there for Skinner or for Campbell. So you wonder, like, did the Leafs kind of dodge one here by not signing Campbell to a longer term deal, which he got? I think he got $5 million. So you wonder how that's going to turn out in the next few years for Campbell and Skinner, because they're the tandem for the foreseeable future for the Oilers, who are running into the situation that every team has, where you tank for a guy and you get the guy you want. You end up building a team around McDavid, and you pull up a stinker like that last night, and you can't have goal. Like, if you don't have goaltending in any league in any league in the sport of hockey, you aren't going to win. And that's just a simple fact. Your goaltending can lose you hockey games, because you're not going to outscore the other team, no matter, like, it's just not, that's not the way it works when it comes to playoffs. You are going to need to tighten things up, get a save, stop all the easy ones, a few of the hard ones, and give yourself a chance. Because if you don't give yourself a chance right off the bat, and you asked the Colorado Avalanche yesterday afternoon when they were playing the Dallas Stars, that Dallas team's good, that you have that situation in Colorado. They found a way to win a Stanley Cup last year because of their talent, but I don't think that their goaltending this year is going to be good enough. They're currently in 8th, I think, in the conference. Should be in a playoff spot. I think there's going to be some jockeying of positions now. I think that all the teams that are in the playoffs now are in. The Flames, they had a real disappointing game last night. They got booed off the ice. The fans, they've had enough in Calgary, and I think they're 6 or 7 points out of a playoff spot right now. And I think that's to put a fork in them. They're done for the year. That is it. And it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen with Treliving and the like coming back next year, because he's a dead duck manager too, like Kyle Dubas. If he doesn't win one in Toronto, which is going to be tough, you're going to see maybe some changes in the managerial positions across hockey. There's some great games yesterday throughout the hockey world. I was down here in the tavern watching the hockey and some baseball. Lots going on in the sports world, so it was fun to watch. But I feel kind of bad for guys like McDavid and guys like Draisaitl. They do what they can night in, night out, and putting up points night in, night out, and they can't get a save from their goalie. And there's lots of teams like that, and there just seems to be a lack of goaltending throughout the National Hockey League, and I don't know why that is, or what has happened to the fine art of goaltending in the last 5 to 10 years, because there doesn't seem to be that many good, great goaltenders around the league right now. There's a handful. You count 5 that you want you want on your team for sure, and say that's the guy we want. But back 20 years ago, there was probably 10 to 20 guys you could say, yeah, that guy's good, that guy's good, that guy's good. Now you have some really average to mediocre goaltenders, like you talk about Murray in Toronto. He's average at best, That guy, he's not the guy you want leading your team. But I don't know. There just seems to be a lack of goaltending throughout the league, and Edmonton seems to find the not the worst of the worst, but the lesser than great goaltenders year in, year out. I mean, they had Smith last year, and then the likes of like they got this year. Like, I hope for Campbell. He seems like a good guy. He seems to really take this to heart, and there's something not right between his ears a little bit. He really, like, when he loses, and it was like that last year in Toronto, when he loses a game, he really takes it to heart, and he blames himself a lot, and he's too hard on himself. Or is that just the woe is me mentality, and he'll get the clicks and the likes and everything else from the fan base saying, yeah, he's a good guy though, he's trying hard. You got to try harder, man. And like I said, the Oilers, their best interest, because they're only 4 points out of first in that Pacific Division, but to go and win some games, they should just played Skinner last night and get that win last night in Winnipeg with the good Winnipeg team. But Skinner did not did not get a chance to play back-to-backs for whatever reason. I will never understand that. Grant Fuhr played 75 games one year, and then that was with the Oilers, and he went into St. Louis. He did the same thing a couple of years later. So play these guys right to the end. Got goalies want to play. Goalies want to stop pucks. What the analytics and what the nerds have to say, I have no idea. But I think they got to play these guys a lot more on a night in, night out basis, just so they can get in a groove and get going. Because you don't lose your skill, you lose your confidence. And get in there and play. When you're playing well, just keep playing. Play these guys into the ground. McDavid plays every night. Yes, he only plays 21 minutes or 22 minutes, whatever it is, but he likes to play, and they get a chance to go out and do their stuff night in, night out. Why the back-to-back things with goaltender? When that became a thing, I have no idea, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the goalies used to play a lot. Marty Brodeur played a lot. Patrick Roy played a lot. Eddie Belfour played a lot. Like, all these, like, if you have two number ones, you don't have one number one, right? And that's an old hockey saying. Same if you have two starting quarterbacks, you don't have one. It's the exact same thing in the hockey world with goaltending and the whole bit. But that's my rant for the day about goaltending and the whole bit. So that's just one of those things about goalies. I'm an old goalie, by the old flailing tender himself right here, but it's one of those situations that I don't understand the fine art of goaltending and the way it's taught. Anyways, on this day in 1985, Mike Bossy scored his 50th and 51st games of the season in a 5-4 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York. That would be the 8th time in Bossy's 10-year career where he hit the 50-goal mark. Bossy scored 50 in 9 of his 10 in his National Hockey League season, finished with 573 goals in only 10 years. Back injuries and the like to Bossy ended his career a little earlier than anybody thought. That guy could score at will on those great Islander teams that won 4 Stanley Cups in a row, and you got to think that he would have been how many would he have scored if he could have stayed healthy? If he could have played another 10 years, how many goals would he have got? I think Gretzky's records would have he would have been chasing. Gretzky would have been chasing Bossy for a long time. And you wonder if he would have got a 20-year career, how many he would have had. And too bad the back injuries slowed his career down and the like. So it's just one of those situations that it didn't turn out well for Bossy. And happy birthday to Bryan Berard, born on this day in 1977 in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I forgot he was drafted by the Senators. And then there was a trade that happened with the New York Islanders that sent Wade Redden over. Wade Redden scored his first AJHL goal on me, by the way. And anyways, the Berard the legacy, he was a hell of a hockey player. Got traded over, got injured when he was in Toronto. Got a stick to the eye from Marian Hossa, I think it was. But he had a heck of a career. Could skate like the wind. Had a situation, played for a lot of teams. Kind of had people think that he had a bit of an attitude problem, but he I don't think he did. He just one of those guys, just that cocky American attitude back in the day. But Berard was a hell of a player, and you really watched him skating around the ice. He was lucky that he didn't lose his eye and was able to come back and play. Played for the Islanders, the Leafs, the Rangers, the Bruins, the Hawks, and the Blue Jackets in his long career. Berard was a heck of a player that, like I said, he was lucky to not lose an eye and beat the odds and came back and ended up playing hockey once again. And also, happy birthday to my sister, who's not 50. She's not saying how old she is. She's a year older today. And happy birthday to my sister, Elaine Radlinsky. Love you, Elaine. And things are going really well for your family out there in Parksville. Jimmy Valentine was on the radio yesterday and everything else. So that was good to hear Jimmy doing his thing there in BC, Unsigned BC. It was all on there, so it was really good. He did a couple 3 songs on the radio yesterday, so that was fun to listen to. Anyways, got a little rambly there, but it happens once in a while. 14:20 in the morning. Make sure you guys tune in to our YouTube live show tomorrow night. We'll be pumping it up a little bit. We're not sure exactly how we're going to approach this, but we got some ideas that me and Dave have worked out. We're going to have a good time with that. Our first YouTube show is going to be about 7:30, I think, tomorrow night, 7:30 Mountain Time. So make sure you guys give that a listen or a watch tomorrow on YouTube and everything else, and spread the good word. And maybe we'll get this thing going again in the right direction. Things are going really well. We're close to 8,000 downloads for this year already, which is quite crazy the way it all turns out. Yeah, we're doing a few more shows, but it's the show's doing really well. We're really quite proud of how things are going. Thanks everybody for listening to our show on a daily, weekly basis, whatever it may be. We did the show with the Pesky guys, the Pesky Report from Boston. It was a great conversation about baseball. It's up on YouTube and it's up on Spotify and everywhere else right now. So make sure you guys give that a listen when you get a chance on this snowy Saturday or Sunday, I guess where I am. But make sure you guys give it a listen and give it a like and follow those guys from the Pesky Report, even though they are Red Sox guys. There was a lot of fun with Brad and Brady from the Pesky Report. Here's a little clip of the show from I think we recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, and it's out now. So make sure you guys give that a listen later on today. Thanks for being a part of the 14:20 in the morning. Went a little bit longer today, but who cares? Whatever, it doesn't much matter. You'll joke no one's listening anyways. People are actually listening now, so that's a good thing. Anyways, and remember all the time, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Well, when Jeter left, Marion left 13, 14, Jeter left, and then it kind of went sideways, and thank God A-Rod left because, well, who likes A-Rod? But, it was a – do you guys like A-Rod?
I love A-Rod.
I think he's a good player. I think he's a better player than a broadcaster. He annoys the hell out of me on television.
So
that's just
like him as a player, love him as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of him on with a mic.
Yeah.
If we're talking just baseball,
absolutely.
As a player, 100% should be in the Hall of Fame.
You find another baseball player in 2003. He was traded from the Texas Rangers to the Boston Red Sox, and he voluntarily devalued his contract because the Red Sox ownership would not pay. And he was like, cool, I'll leave $6 million a year on the table. I don't really care. I want to play for a winner. And the union said no. That's how he ends up with the Yankees. Find me another star player that actually said, I want to take less to play for a winner. Find another guy. You look at Robbie Cano, doesn't run out ground balls. You look at Manny Ramirez, doesn't run out ground balls. You look at A-Rod, freaking runs hard every time. He gives max effort. Maybe he did it too much.
His own worst enemy.
But you uber talented, totally gave a shit. I respect that.
Yeah, that space between his ears at 6 inches, or his probably 8 or 10, the size of that head of his. But that was his biggest enemy to me. It was a done deal. You guys ready to go to some extra innings here?
Oh yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
That's not the right answer. What Yankee do you guys dislike the most, past or present?
That's such a good question. Oh.
Past or present? I can't hate Judge, so there's that.
Why?
I said
why?
I can't hate Judge.
But why?
Why?
The Flailing Tender Hockey Podcast is happy to have partnered up with Barn Burner Hockey. Barn Burner Hockey is a hockey lifestyle brand that is motivated by making all-natural, chemical-free hockey products for players of all ages and skill levels. Get yourself the Filthy Mitts deodorizing equipment spray, the Dirty Dangles 2-in-1 shampoo and body wash. They've also got 2 different types of stick wax, hockey accessories, and apparel that will not only make you look good, but feel great on and off the ice. So go to barnburnerhockey.ca and use promo code 1420BARN and receive 10% off your purchase. That's 1420BARN at checkout at barnburnerhockey.ca. Barn Burner Hockey is so confident that you will love their all-natural products, they offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Barn Burner Hockey and the Flailing Tender Hockey Podcast, created for players by players.